So in today's video we're going to make a tank. That's a bit basic, but that's also quite interesting, so let's go along with it. Now I'm making, this tank's not going to be completely accurate obviously, and I'm also just making it up as I go along, so yeah, see how it goes. Now I'm going to definitely using a few weird systems here, so yeah, just come watch and see what goes on. Now, although I don't really like having suspension in my builds, yeah, that sounds weird, but it just adds a lot to the lag, and also doesn't help that much, this is scrap mechanic. I am going to have, well, suspension on this. Now, I'm going to actually have, well, one suspension for every two wheels, because that's just less laggy and it's just kind of better. And it's also going to help me out with my later systems. Now, you know, I'm running around putting all these rods on the wheels. Now, that's actually for the turning system. Because it's very interesting, but basically, usually for tanks, or using tank steering, you basically have doubled up bearings and, well, electric engines. But I don't want that. I want to use gas engines. And gas engines are quite good as they, well, I rather them as they have a slow acceleration but higher top speed than their electric engines, which have very quick acceleration and, well, low top speed pretty much. So we're basically going to be, basically, when we turn, we're basically just going to use pistons to stop the wheels from moving on one side. So it's pretty simple, and yeah, we can just use gas engines. Now, that's a really bad explanation. Basically, what we're going to do is using pistons to push, well, blocks in between these rods to stop the wheels from moving. And since gas engines don't have much torque, they'll basically just stop moving and stop trying to move. So yeah. Now, this is the prototype system. You see, on suspension, they kind of move, which is a bit of a problem. Which could cause a problem anyway. Now, I was doing this in a very bad way, so yeah, I kind of had to replace a few things. I also completely redid the system. Yeah, I didn't like the way I did it. Anyway, yeah, I started doing it with full blocks, but then I might have replaced this later. And this is the end product, just because I couldn't really bear to watch myself do it wrong. Now it's basically got, you see, pistons on each side, and if I press A or D, it'll basically just activate them as I go. But I should try, and as you can see, I can turn. And you can see the pistons lock the wheels, and yeah, it works pretty well. Now I didn't like the wheels having metal blocks on them, it didn't work very well. And basically just made the ride a lot more bumpy. Although it isn't going to be a more bumpy ride with the blocks on the wheels, it's just generally a nicer system for me, especially. Now, suspension is definitely nice. It definitely helps cushion stuff and also lets you climb over things. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Now, to be fair, the gas engines are, to say difficult would be an understatement. They're definitely weirder when it's using normal tank steering. But I quite liked it as it's technically kind of more realistic. But as you can see, we can quite easily turn. But anyway, now the thing in the seat was also a problem. Now normally the driver's seat would be in the front of the tank, so I'm going to have two seats, the gunner seat and the driver's seat. But it just wouldn't fit basically, because say you need to get out your driver's seat but still want to do in the tank, that would basically be really difficult to do. And I have to make the tank a lot taller, which is something I don't want to do. So we're just going to worry about that later. I think it works pretty well. And if we want to turn, we can. I also had some wheels at the front which aren't on suspension. They'd usually be the sprocket on a normal tank, but this isn't a normal tank, so yeah. And it doesn't have tracks. When I started working the actual turret out, I was going to have a little bit of a turret basket, but behind the suspension and the steering motors, that was going to be a bit difficult. Now you're going to probably hear, well, very loud sounds coming from the wheels. Now that's because without a seat, it's going to just kind of randomly tries to turn due to the way the A and D converter is. So yeah, okay, I added in that turret as yeah, it's pretty important, and it also get a big grip tank. Well, a good grip on the tank, and yeah, it looked a bit weird since it wasn't a full turret, and I just want to get the proportions right so it's big enough but not big. Now, one of the problems is you're basically going to be spending all your time in the tank. Like, I'm not planning to make it so you can go around the body of it, as that would mostly be armor. It's really, yeah, the final mostly just filled up with metal to be as armor, I guess, armor. As having more armor on the front is usually beneficial. And I also want to make the turret basically as wide as possible, and also as big as possible without making it look weird. Now, I do have quite a big tank body, which is good, as that can help, like, you know, it it's all proportion, so obviously the turret can be bigger if the tank body is bigger. And yeah, I basically just started making the turret a bit bigger, and it will definitely get taller. But that's the easiest way, is the height's kind of important. But yeah, you might also notice that there's quite a lot of tier 3 metal inside. Now these are just the bits that are really essential, because I don't want this thing to be invincible, because I don't want to make the whole thing about tier 3 metal. So it'd be boring if you couldn't actually destroy it. But I'm just going to make the middle bits, because they're the most vulnerable. And also I'd want to make sure you actually have to like slowly rail the tank down and just can't get it in one shot. With outloads? No. Am I going to shoot at anything? Probably not for a long time. But anyway, it's worth it. Now, I've never really made a proper tank in Ceramic Mechanic before, especially one that kind of designed for you to reload. Most of my tanks have. Especially, I made a mega tank once, which had 2 cannons, which worked very well. But they were also reloaded, and the easiest way to reload it was just to weld another magazine in, or I don't know, load the other rounds in. But you wouldn't actually place it manually. Now in this, you'll just have to place it random manually. Now, I'm going to use the gun I always do. Just spud guns and cardboard, because they can just propel something in front of them. Now, it's just simple, and it's widely used, and it works very well. Now, my first idea was basically, we need basically a hole for the explosives to exit through at the, well, in the, the mantler. I won't idea. Anyway, I kind of wanted to see if it could go through blocks, but I realised that wasn't happening, so yeah. Now at this point in time, it's actually starting to take shape. Now I did go with skeletons, lots of the basket, just to make space, and also made the gun, well, a bit of an area for the gun to shoot through. That's just really important. Now this was very difficult to do, but it was okay. So you can see, this would be how big, well, the breach for our cannon would be. Now it actually takes up a decent space side to turret, so I'm going to move it to the side, but just to test it out, I just want to see if it could shoot out. Now I didn't save this currently, so if this blew up, then that would be my old tank gone. Well, a bit of it anyway. But it did work fine, so that's good enough. Now I started working on basically being able to aim the turret. As you can see, you can now aim it. There's also a little machine gun on top, which is 1 spud gun, so it's not even that powerful, but it does its job. I might change it out later. Anyway, I worked on the gun to see, which is in the turret. Now, as you can see, you can fire it and you can aim, which is basically all you need. We've got most of the main systems done, we just need to add armour and also make the thing look better. It's not even that hard to reload either, and that was a priority. Now I also added a gun shield just because that would protect us from most of the shots from the front into the turret. I also added wedges just to make it look better. As you can see, it looks okay. There's a bit like a face at the moment, which is a problem, but well. I definitely will add a barrel later. I just don't know it yet because that can make problems. Especially since I want multiple ones with the gun. When it comes out of the breach, it will might collide the barrel and just explode, which would be bad. So yeah. Also, I know it's very loud at the moment because the whole like sound effect from going from there, but it should improve. Well, it should completely come out and drive seat back. But anyway, I started hooking everything up, so I moved the gunner seat to the side because I think I might know where I'll put the drive seat. I decided to put it in the middle of the turret. Just because, yeah, it's unrealistic. I mean, I think there might have been a few times which actually did have a drive seat inside. And it definitely means that the first person is going to be really bad, which is a shame. But it's just the easiest way to put it, especially if only one person's operating the tank, they can easily switch between seats, which just help a lot, really. Yeah, anyway, I put the engine speed back up because they were really low, so I can turn them off. And you see we can now go forwards. And this thing looks pretty cool as well. I did add a barrel by putting a piston and something at the end. It's automatically expanded, but yeah, pretty cool. Now, this thing was actually also starting to come together pretty darn well. Now, the first person view obviously looks really bad, and also it's very loud with suspension, and also getting suspension lies quite hard, so it doesn't. Yeah, but it became pretty good, so it's reactive enough to actually, like, well, suspense. But yeah, you do all his and bad weird music when you, well, not weird music, weird sounds when you got turn. But that's just like the gearbox changing. Yeah, kind of. No, not really, but it's actually okay. You can even get some airtime, as you can see. You can also see the suspension, kind of compress when you land. And that's not great like crossing stuff, But anyway, it's done. I gave it a paint job, and yeah, that's that. Forgot it's green with also well, a green and grey basically. I don't know. I'm not great at camo. It doesn't look great, but it looks better than it did without it. I think. I also had stuff to the back, just like some radiators with like like some as air conditioning units. And you can see, it looks pretty cool. It's actually pretty good, and yeah, I'm pretty proud of it. No, I don't really make tanks. It's just a bit basic, quite simple to me. This one actually is okay. It looks okay. It's not really based on any tank in particular, but yeah. I mean, I did a radio. That's just added quite early on, and I also had some bars around the side to prevent him from climbing up on the side. Now it looks, yeah, pretty cool. I also had a hatch, which I didn't really mention much, but yeah, it seems pretty cool. The turning system is loud, not always the most effective, but it actually works pretty well. It's also pretty manoeuvrable. It can also go up hills, as you can see. Now it's not fast because this thing's heavy, like really, really heavy. But yeah, it's not bad. I mean, yeah, I could have used tier 2 mess if I wanted to swing to dual durable, but mess suits it better, so I just rather it like this. Now, a few problems with it, but there's not many. Like, for example, you can't always aim up with your gun, because depending on how that turret is. But yeah, pretty proud of it. I also forgot to mention that I also had another machine gun, as I kind of got rid of the one in the controller. I had it, it's on the inside now, coming out the hole, and it's a lot better. But anyway, yeah, driving it's pretty darn good. It's not a great to drive, especially at precision, but it's actually pretty fun to drive, and it's pretty fast, which is what we wouldn't have got with an electric engine one, so I'm glad I did it. An electric engine one would have almost no acceleration after, well, going for the, well, so it'd be pretty annoying to actually probably control. Whereas this, it's more reactive, so I can always just not press the W button down if I want to slow down. Whereas with electric engines, it'd more be if you didn't, you basically go at a constant speed, which is what I wouldn't like. As this is, yeah, just I think better. You can also hear the turning work, which is very loud. I'll turn that down in post, but anyway, it's pretty cool. Now it's not actually too bad to control. It's not the worst thing I made. It doesn't flip over. It never actually flipped over, which is good. But it can quite easily get stuck. It's also pretty good at turning. It doesn't actually turn on what like proper tank steering could offer, but it turns in a pretty short turning radius, so it's pretty good. It also turns pretty good on the move well, which is nice. And as you can see, it can gain a lot of speed to go up these jumps. In fact, even crash into a tree. It doesn't flip over though. But anyway, yeah. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one. In the next video, I'll probably make my city again because I'm interested in that now. But anyway, bye.